everyone, my name is Rimanini Manurong. I'm student from Universitas HKBP Nomensen Pematang Siantar. Now I will explain the material about communicative competence and actional competence, language function, and barrier to effective interpersonal communication and how to overcome it. Communicative competence is an exchange of information, idea, and feeling between two or more people through verbal or non-verbal method. This is communication is also not only about what is actually said or what language is used, but how it is said and messages with using words are sent through the tone of voice, facial expression, gesture, and body language.
Example: communicative competence in an organization meeting members argue to solve a problem in the organization. They exchange opinions well.
Actional competence is a person's ability to speak, convey what is on his mind, and understand the action to be taken to get a good response.
Situation: suggesting, requesting, and instructing, giving order, advising and warning, persuading, encouraging and discouraging, asking for, granting, and withholding permission. Feelings: expressing and finding out about feeling love, happiness, sadness, pleasure, anxiety, anger, embarrassment, pain, relief, fear, annoyance, surprise, etc. Opinions: expressing and finding out about opinion and attitudes, agree and disagree, approving and disapproving, showing satisfaction and dissatisfaction. For example, when your friend visits your house and he hasn't had breakfast, he says he was hungry, then you who understand the meaning of your friend immediately bring food and drinks.
Language function refers to what students do with language as they are engaged with content, interact with others. Function represent the active use of language for a specific purpose. Students use language function in order to express ideas, communicate with others, and show understanding of content in an academic setting.
Language form deal with the internal grammatical structure of word and phrases as well as the word themselves. When one compares boy and boys, for example, or man and man, he or she is considering the relationship between different language forms or structures. Language form also include course, curricular, academic, vocabulary, work of phrases frequently used across different content areas. Course, curricular, academic, vocabulary words typically describe or are related to academic process and may include verb, complex, nouns. Step of language function: a sender compresses the message in his mind. In composing the message, he will take into account such things as a reason for the message, such as the pursuit of info. The next step is selection of the channel of communication. Channels include speaking, writing, video transmission, audio transmission, electronic transmission through an email, text or instant message, or even non-verbal communication through body language and signal. The next stage of communication is when the receiver of message processes the information into understand, collect, decoding. An optional step in the process is feedback, which is a message sent from the receiver to the sender in response to the original message.
Barriers to effective interpersonal communication, things that get in the way of a message being received. A communication barrier is nothing that prevents us from receiving and understanding the message others use to convey their information, idea, and truth. They can interfere with or block and message you are trying to send. Overcoming barriers to effective interpersonal communication, namely by simplifying language, controlling emotion, listening ardently, and use feedback.
Barriers to effective interpersonal speaking sentiment. In other words, it was a view and emotional functional involving a different model of the association and privileging of sentiment. Rather, it presupposes the extent and the authority of such sentiment. Filtering. Filtering information may deceive the receiver into taking into something favorable, and the disappointment may be upsetting. It found out that information has been sifted. Message crammed with information. Excessive information about the same subject matter may be perplexing. For example, you have 20 emails on the same theme. Each email contains some part of the theme. Instead, it would be better to have a single email from the sender which focus in looking from only the information you want. Defensiveness. Normally, reading what the sender tell you, putting out sardonic remark, questioning the motives, or being excessively judgmental about the topic. Cultural difference. When two people with different cultural communication, they often do not comprehend each other's culture and might misinterpret the true meaning of the each other is trying to convey through such a sense. Argot is the stuff foiled when taken to someone who one is not familiar with personally or within one's organization. Overcoming the barriers of effectual interpersonal communication. Simply language by structuring your language to clear and complicated sentence. The receiver will be able to effortlessly understand what the sender is saying. Control emotion. Articulating in a neutral manner allow mutual understanding to take place and for both sender and receiver to communicate rationally. Listen ardently, place yourself in the sender's position and try to comprehend exactly what they are trying to convey to you. The receiver is trying to comprehend fully what the sender is trying to say, so putting the receiver in the sender point of view makes understanding much easier. Use feedback. This is done by the sender as a symbol of confirmation by using close-ended questions such as, "Did you understand what I have just said?" or "Is what I say clear to you?" or using an open-ended question to have the receiver recapitulate the message.